After more than 20 years in law enforcement, I walked away from a career where I had a lot of experience and started over in technology. I went from being the supervisor, the person who usually knew what was going on, to sitting in meetings where I sometimes felt like I barely understood the conversation. If you're over 40 and wondering if it's too late to get into tech, I want to tell you what that transition actually looked like, what I got wrong, and what finally helped me find my place. After 20 years, the stress builds up. I reached a point where I knew it was time to find something new, something that would feed me in a better way than the constant stress of that job. This wasn't a decision I made overnight. Around the end of 2021, I decided I wanted to transition out. Then I started researching, studying, trying to understand what a realistic move into technology would require. I did that preparation while I was still working. I eventually left law enforcement in August of 2023. That matters because most adults changing careers cannot simply quit their jobs and spend 6 months learning full time. You may have a mortgage, a family, and responsibilities. I did too. The transition had to be planned and built over time. I did have some technical experience inside of law enforcement. I had been interested in technology all my life, from gaming to the newest gadgets. When I became serious about changing careers, I studied for the CompTIA A+ material because I wanted that foundational IT knowledge. I didn't intend to take the exam, but I felt that I needed to go back and learn the core concepts. I also completed the Google IT Support Professional program, again focusing on foundational knowledge. The goal wasn't to collect pieces of paper. I needed to understand the fundamentals well enough to have technical conversations, recognize what I didn't know, and keep learning. My first assumption was that law enforcement would make cybersecurity the obvious transition. I believed that so strongly that I studied like crazy and earned the CompTIA Security Plus certification. The two fields share concerns about security, evidence, risk, and investigation, so on the surface it made sense. But I underestimated how much cybersecurity rests on foundational IT experience. Cybersecurity can also be a very difficult field to enter. Many positions are experience focused, networking matters, but you may also need home labs, projects, and a body of work that shows you can perform the technical part of the job. I'm not saying you should avoid cybersecurity. I'm saying that it may not be the easiest first step simply because your previous career involved security or investigations. For me, managed file transfer turned out to be the better bridge. In simple terms, I help make sure important files move securely and reliably through the bank. At the same time, I could continue building the technical skills I needed. I monitored transfers, investigated failures, configured connections, and helped protect sensitive information throughout the process. It gave me a way to demonstrate skills I already had: communication, leadership, file management, report writing, investigation, responsibility, and handling sensitive information. I want to be honest about how I got it. It was a combination of networking, interview skills, making a real personal connection with the hiring manager, and some luck. Certifications helped me prepare, but networking led me to apply for the position. Then the interview gave me an opportunity to show the technical knowledge I could show, how I communicated, how I thought through problems, and what experience from my previous career would transfer to the team. That is something career changers sometimes overlook. Your technical foundation matters, but employers are still hiring a person. The way you communicate, learn, listen, and work with others can be part of your value. The hardest part came after I got the job. In law enforcement, I had spent years developing experience. I had been the supervisor. I understood the work, the environment, and what people needed from me. I knew the law, and I knew the job. Then I entered technology and finance, and sat in conversations where I sometimes felt almost inept. That loss of mastery is difficult, especially when you're older and already established in another profession. What helped me was getting into as many meetings and conversations as I could. I listened and I concentrated on the foundations of the job, the foundations of the team, and the needs that actually existed. I stopped expecting myself to know everything and focused on understanding a little more every day. What surprised me most was how many skills did transfer. That technology was different. The day to day processes were different, but the way I approached problems was familiar. Troubleshooting is an investigation. You gather evidence, you compile the known facts, you form a hypothesis. Then you test that hypothesis to see whether it explains everything you are seeing. If it doesn't, you revise it and keep investigating. That process transferred really well into technical troubleshooting. It is still the way I approach cloud and production issues today. Your previous career may have given you transferable skills that do not sound technical on a resume. Maybe you know how to investigate, document, lead, communicate under pressure, manage risk, or break a complicated problem into smaller pieces. Those skills do not replace technical knowledge, but they can make you much better at applying it. If you're over 40 and believe you are too old or too far behind, I would tell you it is never too late. I actually turned 50 in 2023. People say wisdom comes with age. By this point in life, you may have a clearer sense of what you want, where you want to go, and what responsibility actually looks like. And you may have one of the most important things this transition requires: discipline. It's not a quick process. It probably will not happen in a couple of months. It takes dedication and a willingness to keep studying when it is easier to watch television, play a game, or do something more comfortable. Use some of that time to learn a skill, start a course, build a project, take a college class if that path makes sense for you. I went back to college and earned my bachelor's degree in information technology. A degree is not the only thing employers value. It is not a guarantee, but for me, it was another way to demonstrate that I had the discipline to finish what I started. It's not too late, but it's not going to happen overnight. Choose a realistic entry point, build your foundations, network with people, be willing to become a big beginner again. Then keep investing your time, one skill, one course, and one opportunity at a time. And don't be afraid to start with a help desk job. Help desk is one of the quickest ways to get into the field, and so many people overlook it. I changed careers after more than 20 years. Today I work in cloud technology, and I'm still learning, and will always learn. This channel is where I will share the practical version of that journey: career change, cloud engineering, real world troubleshooting, and how I use AI when I don't know the answer. If you're building a career in tech and want the practical version, not the hype, subscribe to me. Click that button. Or if not, just watch the videos and see if it helps you one little bit at a time. Thank you.